and Dawn. Today we discuss about the bank reconciliation, bad debts, and financial statements. First, we discuss about the bank reconciliation. The problem 1. Grizzly Company had outstanding checks totaling $7,500 on its September bank reconciliation. In October, the company issued checks totaling $50,700. The October bank statement showed that checks totaling $29,800 cleared the bank. This means that these checks have been debited from our bank account and are no longer outstanding. In addition, a check from one of Springer's customers in the amount of $500 was returned as this non-sufficient funds. The outstanding check on the October bank reconciliation should total. So we have the outstanding check totaling $7,500 on its September bank reconciliation, and we add issue check $50,700, and we less clear checks and deduct $29,800. So the balance October outstanding check is $28,400. So the answer is C, $28,400. Problem 2. Jones Company collected the following information to prepare its May bank reconciliation. We have cash balance on May 31st, deposit in transit, not receivable, with interest collected by bank service charge, outstanding check, non-sufficient fund check. So when the ending balance is $5,300, is added to the not receivable collected by the bank, $580, and we subtract the bank service charge, $30, and non-sufficient fund check, $150. So the adjusted cash balance per books is $5,700. So the correct answer is A. Problem 3. Using the chart below, calculate the adjusted cash balance per bank on October 31st. It's similar with the problem 2. We have cash balance on October 31st, $28,000. We have deposits in transit, $15,000. Outstanding checks, $8,000. Bank service charge, $1,000. And non-sufficient funds check, $7,000. And the last one is the not receivable plus interest collected by bank, $12,000. And we have the cash balance before adjusted is $28,000. And we add deposit in transit, $15,000. And we minus outstanding check, $8,000. So the ending we have the adjusted cash balance is $35,000. So we don't use the $1,000 bank service charge and the not receivable plus interest collected by bank. So here the answer is $35,000. Problem 4. Which of the following journal entries is the correct journal entry for the account holder when the bank submits a debit memorandum to the account holder for a monthly service charge of $34? A debit memorandum is a document from the bank that tells the customer the debit adjustment made to their bank account. So the account holder would debit some expense and should be credit cash for $34. So it should be C or D. And this is not lost on the bank transactions. So the correct answer is C. So we credit cash for $34 to decrease cash by the proper amount. And we debit miscellaneous expense for $34 to recognize the expense. So the answer is C. Problem 5. Parker Core estimates that 3% of year-end accounts receivable will not be collected. The company used a percentage of the accounts receivable method, and its accounts receivable balance at the year-end is $100,000. If the allowance account has a credit balance of $2,000 before adjustment, what is amounts to be credited to the allowance account? The ending balance should be $3,000. It's 3% of $100,000. It already has a credit balance of $2,000, so $1,000 is the amount to be credited to the allowance accounts. So the answer is B, 1,000. 6. In 2010, Patterson Wholesale Company had net credit sales of $750,000. On January 1st, 2010, allowance for doubtful accounts had a credit balance of $18,000. And during the year, $30,000 of uncollectible accounts receivable were written off. Past experience indicates that the allowance should be 10% of the balance in receivable, percentage of receivable basics. If the accounts receivable balance at the December 31st was $200,000, what is the required adjustment to the allowance for doubtful accounts at December 31st, 2010? So we have in January 1st, 2010, allowance for doubtful accounts is $18,000. Uncollectible accounts receivable written off $30,000 during the year. So the difference is $30,000 minus $18,000 is $12,000 will be credited to the allowance for doubtful accounts. And the desired balance using the percentage of receivable method is credits balance of $20,000 is 10% of $200,000. So in order to have an ending balance of $20,000, a credit entry of $23,000 must be made to the allowance for doubtful accounts. Therefore, the amount of the adjusting entry must be $32,000. The answer is C, $32,000. Problem 7. An analysis and aging of the accounts receivable of Raja Company at December 31st revealed this data. Accounts receivable 800,000, allowance for doubtful accounts books before adjustment credit 50,000, and amounts expected to become uncollectible is 65,000. So in this case, account receivable beginning balance of the year is 800,000. So the cash realizable value of the accounts receivable is the account receivable less the ending balance of the allowance for doubtful accounts. So in this case, account receivable is 800,000 and the ending balance in allowance for doubtful accounts is 65,000. This result in cash realizable value is 800,000 minus 65,000 is equal to 735,000. So the answer is D. Problem 8. Ryan Leaf Company used the percentage of receivable method for recording bad debts expense. The accounts receivable balance is 100,000 at the year end, and the total credit sales were 800,000. Management estimates that 4% of receivable will be uncollectible. What adjusting entries should be made if the allowance for doubtful accounts has a credit balance of 800 before adjustment? Before adjustment, the allowance for doubtful accounts credit 800. So allowance for doubtful accounts needs an ending credit balance of 4% of 100,000 is 4,000. So we have credit balance of 800. So this can be done with 3,200 debit to bad debt expense and a credit to allowance for doubtful accounts for the same amount. So the answer is A. Debit in that bad debt expense and allowance for doubtful accounts credit with the same amount, 3,200. Yeah, we're going to the financial statement. We have income statement, statement of retained earnings, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow. Question 9. Which of the four listed financial statements provides a snapshot of the company's financial condition at the specific date? Balance sheet, income statement, statement of the cash flow, statement of the retained earning. And here the fundamentals balance sheet show the amounts of asset and liability of the particular date, which is January year end. It is also called statement of the financial position. It shows balance in assets, liability, and equity accounts of the company. An income statement shows summary of the business operations over a period of time. Income statement is generally prepared for 1 year. Cash flow statement show the change in cash flow from one period to another. It divided into 3 parts, namely operating, financing, and investing activities. All sections together show the change in cash flow from the beginning of the one period to the end of it. And the statement of retained earning is prepared using income compute by the preparing income statement over the periods of time. Therefore, the financial statement provides the company's financial condition at the specific date is balance sheet. The correct answer is A. Problem 10. Which of the four listed financial statements shows a company's profits or loss during its accounting period? Balance sheet, income statement, state of cash flow, statement of the retained earnings. And here we are. Income statement generally consists of revenues, expenses, gains, and losses from operating of the business. So the answer is B, income statement, obviously. Problem 11. Which of the four listed financial statements shows the sources of cash and the use of cash during the company's accounting period? And we have four financial statements: balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, and statement of retained earnings. So statement of cash flow will show the company's use and sources of cash. The answer is C. This is the end of session today. This is my email and my LinkedIn information. Good luck for your final, and I will put it on the chart, the PowerPoint. Please email me if you have any questions. I will be happy to help you. Thank you.